Good afternoon, everyone. If you are watching a replay, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you there. Thank you for tuning in. I am Candy Martin. I'm a financial educator, and on today, we're going to be discussing how money works for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is something I'm very passionate about. I am an entrepreneur myself. I am the owner and operator of Martin Business Solution, as well as Guimont and Anchor Financial Firm. And we've been in existence now 26 years. So I am truly appreciative and very grateful that you have joined us on today. So I'm not going to delay. I'm going to get right into it. I have a few announcements. So if you're watching the replay, make sure that you pay attention to the dates to make sure that that time has not passed by. But once again, I thank you for your time. All right, so on August 20th at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time in the city of Covington, Louisiana, if you're available, we are going to be hosting an in-person workshop, how money works for entrepreneurs. But we're going to do some things a little bit different than what we're going to discuss here. There are going to be some of the items repeated, but we're going to get more into a more diverse breakdown, kind of a step-by-step of some of the fine details. Zoom is great and I love it, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be sharing with you guys virtually. But you know how things are when you do them in person. Just have that extra advantage. So if you're available, that will be August 20th. And like I said, if you're watching the replay, make sure that you pay attention to the dates. So this is August 20th, 2025. Next week, we will have an in-person workshop as well. And as you can see, the QR code is on the screen. And if you have any questions, just simply reach out to us here. Right, so let's dive into it. Entrepreneurship, finance review. Less than half, which is about 48% of small business owners, are confident they're paying taxes correctly. That means there are 52% of us who don't have a clue of what we're doing. 32% of small business owners say better financial literacy would help them improve budget and cash flow. All right, let me do one little housekeeping thing here that I want to do. All right. And low financial literacy costs small business owners an average of $118,121 in lost profit annually. So we definitely want to make sure that we are on top of financial education and that we're sharing the information, because wherever we can cut costs and wherever we can help small business owners save, there's more revenue for them to be able to put back into the business, which in turn put back into the community, which makes this world go round. 74% of small business owners, entrepreneurs say that cash flow challenges have stayed the same or worsened over the last 12 months. 38% of small business owners use their own money to fund their business when the cash flow river runs dry. Wow, that well and that river tends to run dry very quickly. Nearly 6 out of 10, 59% small business owners use credit cards as an emergency fund, which is also like a temporary source of funding their business. So if something comes up in the business that was unexpected, they tend to use their personal credit card to save the day. 48% of small business owners plan to build personal wealth by growing their business. So a small business owner is thinking, hey, I have this vehicle, whatever the business is, I'm not, it could be a paid hobby, but then it turns into something that is more of a legacy. Hey, I'm going to retire one day. What am I going to retire with? So now the small business become the thing that is going to fund their retirement. It's the thing that's going to be the vehicle or the item that they leave for their family to leave their legacy behind. So the small business is no longer just something to earn some money to pay a bill. It is now the thing to fund retirement, to pay for college, to pay for whatever the family needs. So now it becomes a lifeline. So 48% of small business owners plan to reach these goals by growing their business. Financial literacy, and I know we're talking about small business owners and entrepreneurship, but we got to remember when we're talking about entrepreneurship, that also includes the person, the business owner. Hey, me, a lot of times small business owners tend to forget that we're human. We tend to forget that we're people. And so I'm going to put a few personal finance items into this webinar so that we don't forget to take care of us as well. So as small business owners, I want you to put on your personal hat for a second as I go through these statistics. Financial illiteracy can cause poverty, debt, stress, divorce, confinement, and even a shorter lifespan. So all of you medical professionals out there, I need you to agree, I need you to support what I just said. You know that when people come into your office to get medical treatment, oftentimes somewhere in there, there's some stress that was caused by some sort of financial challenge. So I'm not a medical professional, so we won't get into the debate of what the percentage is, but trust me, some people, they can get some of the financial stress relieved, everything else will get relieved as well. 44% of Americans don't have enough cash to cover a $400 emergency. So what would you think of as a $400 emergency? Let's say you get a flat tire. A tire could cost you about $400. Maybe the refrigerator going out. Now, I know you can't get a brand new refrigerator for $400, but just kind of put it into that. You could at least, get the wheel turning on that. $400 emergency, child just landed. They tried out for a sport team and they got selected. And it was kind of like last minute. And now the uniform is $350 or $450 or $400. So that is sometimes an emergency. $9,333 is the average credit card debt for a balanced carrying household. Who will pay, unless they get some financial education, they will pay $37,486 in interest over 30 years. Now, come on, what could you do with 37 grand? As an individual or as a business owner? You could buy a car, you could put a down payment on a home and have some change left. You could pay for a 4-year college education. $37,486 is a lot of change, all right? 43% of student loan borrowers are not making payments, all right? 33% of American adults have zero retirement savings. And I really kind of want to park there for a second. When you think about retirement, a lot of small business owners or entrepreneurs, gig workers, freelancers, don't understand that they can actually have a retirement plan put in place for them without having to be part of a corporate company. So for example, some people, when I get to meeting them and I talk to them, that are small business owners or they're gig workers, freelancers, or entrepreneurs, they really don't know that they can actually have a retirement account through their business. They think you have to work for some big company to have a retirement plan. No, you yourself as an entrepreneur can actually set up a retirement plan for you. So I would love to have a conversation with you about that. So sometimes, like I said, we're going to kind of talk about some of the personal, as an entrepreneur, and we're thinking about retirement. Retirement means that we're working now. Even if you're retired now and you've got some gig that you're working on, you're saying, hey, I'm going to save some money so that I can retire one day. And retirement doesn't necessarily mean that you're sitting on the front porch rocking in a rocking chair, because you may still want to do philanthropy work. You may want to do charity work. You may still want to run your business. But retirement means I now have enough money saved and I don't have to go to work if I don't want to. And I definitely don't have to work for someone else. So how much money do we have saved? Well, no generation is saving enough. The statistics tell us right now, millennials have about $23,000 saved for retirement. Gen Xers have about $66,000 saved for retirement. Baby boomers, who were part of the pension generation, they had pension plans, they only have about $152,000 on average saved for retirement. So no generation as a whole is saving enough. There, of course, are some people that are set but I still would want to double check that to make sure, because things have changed and vehicles have changed. And when I mean by vehicle, financial vehicles have changed over the years. So we want to make sure that you have enough of retirement. We want to make sure that the things are in the right place. And so we want to make sure that you have what you need for retirement. All right. Gonna go to this next screen. I'm gonna pull something up really quick. Just give me a second. All right, let's see. All right, so numbers don't lie. And so as small business owners or entrepreneurs, we want to make sure that we know what our numbers are. What is your financial independence number? Let's see. All right, everybody, let's get out the old pen and paper. No, you're not getting away. Let's get out the calculators or your pen and paper. And I want you to think, now this is something you can take and write down and do it later. But if you're able to, I'm just gonna go through it really quick for just a second, but we, like I said, you can actually just write this down and you can go through this later. But I want you to know how to get to your financial independence number. Take your annual expenses. So let's say as a business owner, you can do this for your business and for your personal, which I strongly suggest. So you want to take your annual expenses, meaning how much do you spend each month to run your business and how much do you spend each month to operate your home? Whatever that is each month, you want to multiply that by 12, of course, and that's how you're going to come up with your annual number. How much do you spend each year to run your business? How much do you spend each year to keep your household afloat? And whatever that total is, you're going to multiply that by 25, okay? So for the sake of an example, let's say it's $1,000 a month to run your business, $1,000 a month to run your home, whichever way. So to have $1,000 in expenses, you're gonna multiply that by 12. Of course, it's gonna give you $12,000. All right, you're gonna take $12,000. I'm gonna use my calculator, $12,000 a year, and I'm gonna multiply that by 25. That gives me a total of $300,000. Now, knowing my financial independence number, that tells me I need $300,000 to be financially free. Okay. Now, of course, that number is going to be higher when you actually sit down and do what your numbers are. So I want you to take some time. You don't have time to do it now, but just take some time, figure out what is your monthly expense, multiply that by 12, and the answer that you receive, you want to multiply that by 25. That is considered your financial independence number. So that means you need to have something in place so that when you get ready to retire, you'll have that amount. So in my example, I needed $1,000 a month, which is $12,000 a year, which gives me the $300,000 that I needed over a span of 25 years in order to have what's called my financial independence number. Okay. Once you have your financial independence number, you need to make sure that you meet with your financial educator, your financial advisor to say, hey, I need $300,000 or whatever your number is. Do I have those things in place today that's going to get me to my financial independence number? And if you do, great, you're on track. We want to make sure that we have safeguards in place so that number doesn't diminish, but at least that it stays the same or grow. So you want to check to make sure that everything is safe. And then let's say you're off track and you're not on track to get to your financial independence number. Find out what it is that you can do to put that in place to have your financial independence number, okay? All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is the 4% rule, okay? All right, let me make sure my calculator is working. All right. Well, technology kept glitching here, but that's all right. The 4% rule, tell us, hey, I got so in my example, we're still on the example of the $300,000 a year for my person, but for you, you know your number. My person only needs to withdraw about 4% a year to make sure that they don't deplete their funds in retirement. So I'm gonna take my $300,000 and I am going to multiply it by 4%. So my person can't withdraw more than $12,000 a year. And that way it lasts through retirement. So you want to make sure you have your financial independence number, and then you want to do the 4% rule, which means you don't want to withdraw, the WD means withdraw. You don't want to withdraw more than 4% of that per year to make sure that you have the funds to last you through retirement, okay? Then we want to also learn the rule of 72. And by the way, if you would like a video on the rule of 72 after I explain it to you, reach out and let us know. You can text the number 72 to 985-326-9297, and I'll send you a video on the rule of 72. It breaks it down very slow so that you can share it and so that you can just listen to it and watch it over and over and become an expert of the rule of 72. All right, so the rule of 72 says, hey, this is going to tell you where you need to save your money. Because I've been talking about saving money, preparing for retirement. And oftentimes people say, hey, you know, I'm saving money. I'm doing everything I need to do. But are you saving it in the right place? All right. So the rule of 72 lets you know that wherever you're saving your money, it's going to show you how much interest you're going to earn and how long it's going to take for your money to double. So for instance, my person that needs to save the $300,000, we got to make sure we're saving it somewhere safe and somewhere that's going to get us some interest so that we're on track, okay? So you take the number 72 and you divide it by the interest rate that the bank is currently giving you. Whatever, if you're using a bank or some other saving institution or whatever, are they giving you the right amount of interest? So what you do, you take the number 72 and you divide it by the interest rate that institution is giving you. That answer will allow you to know how long it's going to take for your money to double. Okay. So let's kind of get into it. So the rule of 72, we have the number 72, and we're going to divide it by the interest rate. So this particular bank is giving us 1%. So that means whatever amount that I have, it's going to take it 72 years to double. Another bank may be giving us 6%. And at 6%, my amount is going to take 12 years to double, much better than the 72. At 12%, which is even better, I get my money doubled in 6 years. So I want you to, one of your homework assignments is going to be to log into your bank, whatever bank or saving institution you have, and go to where you're saving, to your savings account. And I want you to pull up the interest rate. And I want you to take your account balance that you currently see, divide it by the interest rate that the bank is giving you. And that is going to tell you if you leave the money there and don't touch it, that's how long it's going to take for that money to double. Take the number 72, divide it by the interest rate the bank is giving you. And that's going to show you how long, whatever that balance is, how long it's going to take to double. And as I mentioned, if you would like the video, it's a short video, I think it's less than 3 minutes. This might not even be 3 minutes long, on the breakdown of how to navigate and learn and master the rule of 72. I will gladly send it to you, no cost, no nothing to buy or anything like that. Just text the number 72 to 985-326-9297, and I'll send you the link. All right, so as entrepreneurs, we are we're doing our assessment, we're finding out how much we need to save, we know what our annual expenses are, we know what our financial independence number is, we know what our annual withdrawal rate will potentially be in retirement. And we've also learned the rule of 72. And so now we're off to the races to do something about it, to put some things in place for our small business. So what do we need to do? We need to protect it. We're building this great plan, and we need to make sure that we have something in place that is going to allow us to be safe. Of course, there are no guarantees, but let's find out. As a great entrepreneur, you should know what your threats are. What is threatening your wealth building? So on the screen, as you can see, the 4 threats every wealth builder must conquer. As entrepreneurship, we talked about it earlier. We're building a legacy. We are planning for our retirement. Our business is our lifeline. So if that is the case, let's make sure that we protect it. And in order to protect it against what? Let's know what those 4 things are. And there's a quote, before I get into that, there's a quote on the screen that I absolutely love. It says, procrastination is hands down our favorite form of self-sabotage. Meaning that we know what we need to do. We know what benefit it'll have for us. We don't do it. We put it off. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. And then it never happens. There's nothing that's coming against us but ourselves. We're putting off what we can do today. All right, so let's get into this. Procrastination is one of the threats. And to me, it's kind of sort of one of the bigger ones, because that's something we can control. We can control procrastination. We can actually put some things in place. Inflation, which we have no control over unless you're the one pressing the button and say, hey, inflation should be this. Losses. That could be you put the money in some sort of thing and it didn't work out, or it could be lack of inventory, or just so many different things that could have taken place to cause you to have a loss in your business. So you want to safeguard against that. And taxes. Oh my God, taxes. Our favorite thing to do, right? File our taxes. So let's talk about, let's kind of get into that. So as a small business owner, we need to know what we want to pay taxes on the seed, what we're planting today, or on the harvest that we plan on reaping. So it's the seed versus the harvest. In 3 ways, our money can be taxed, which I'm going to kind of get into that. And of course, I can't get into everything in this short time. We got about 15 more minutes in this webinar. So I'll get as much information in as I can, and I'll also at the end show you how you can schedule your one-on-one with me or someone on my team. And so we'll kind of go through that. But 3 ways your money can be taxed. It can be taxed now. Taxes are paid on interest earnings and dividends every single year, all the time. Yeah. Tax later means taxes are paid when you start taking distributions in retirement, which means you don't pay the taxes now, but you're going to pay the taxes later. Tax never, which is my favorite. Who don't like tax never? I love tax never. Tax never or taxes not owed on earnings and distributions. So let's talk about those 3 things. So, red is tax now, yellow is tax later, green is tax never. We get the green light on the tax never. Yellow, well, let's consider the things, because sometimes that may be the option. And tax now is our least favorite, all right? So taxable accounts are investments made from business income or employment, salary, and wages that have already been taxed. Taxes are paid annually on interest, dividends earned unless held in a qualified retirement plan. Qualified retirement plans are things such as 401k, 403b, 457, traditional IRA plans. They allow you to invest pre-tax dollars with no taxes to pay on the principal or growth until retirement. That's that magic word, until retirement, at which that time you'll pay income tax at the future tax rate on the full amount of distributions each year. Annuities. Except for qualified retirement plans, money invested in annuities will have already been taxed. Growth is tax deferred until retirement, which means, while it's being deferred, it's growing, preferably that's what we want. At that time, you'll pay income tax on the growth portion of your distributions each year. Government bonds. Oh, look, it's in green. Yay. Now we're talking about the green. You can use after-tax money to invest in government and municipal bonds, excluding qualified retirement plans, depending on whether the bond is federal or municipal, which is usually local. Interest may be exempt from federal or state taxes, okay? Roth IRAs, all right? You invest in a Roth IRA with after-tax dollars. Your account grows tax-free and you don't pay taxes on distributions in retirement. Clap it up for that. Permanent life insurance. Premiums are paid with after-tax dollars as long as your policy remains active. You'll never pay taxes on distribution you take for supplemental retirement income or for special purposes. Let's clap it up for permanent life insurance. All right, 3 strategies to protect against the impact of losses. So we just talked about some of the things that we can do to grow our money and safeguard it for retirement. So let's make sure that we keep it safe. Remember, we talked about, as entrepreneurs, we're building. We're constantly building and we're thriving for excellence. But we got to make sure that we safeguard the things that we're building. We don't want to build it and something comes and knock it down and we got to start over, okay? So one of the things we can do is reduce the risk of losses. Make sure that we're educated on things before we leap into them. Make sure that before we put something in place that it has some safeguard, read the fine print, get with your financial educator, ask questions. You want to diversify your portfolio. Grandmama used to always tell us, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Self-explanatory. Utilize financial vehicles. Do not wing it. Read up on it. Get with your financial advisor, your financial educator. Find out what financial vehicle is safe for you because everything isn't for everybody. And you want something tailor-made specifically for you. And you want to utilize those financial vehicles. Don't procrastinate. I mean, I don't know. I think I've said this like maybe in 3 different slides. So don't procrastinate. Take action today. Consider inflation and talk with your financial professional about ways to reduce or remove the impact of losses from your strategy. You don't want to wing this. You don't want to just have some great idea. And you don't want to assume and you don't want to just round it up. You want to get your specific numbers for your situation specifically. Okay. All right. So another thing that I want to talk to entrepreneurs is make sure that we take care of our business. Whatever the business is, if you bake cookies, if you're a wedding planner, if you own a consulting service, you're an insurance agent, you sell cars, you're a hairdresser, I don't care what the industry is, you are always serving your clients and you're making sure that all the things are done because that is, like I said, your lifeline, your financial lifeline. And oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we forget to take care of ourselves. We don't do our self-care days like we should. But these are 4 things that I want to talk to you about to make sure that if you don't hear anything else I said today, that you put these 4 things in place. And these are the 4 documents that we're going to talk about, 4 or 5 things that we're going to talk about here. Your estate plan is so important. What good does it for you to build this great business that you're doing, whether it's a side gig, freelancing, you're a full-time entrepreneur, you're a part-time entrepreneur, you haven't decided, or whatever the case may be. You have a passion to do something and you're doing it. Kudos to you. Clap it up for you. But if you don't put something in place, what happens when you're no longer here? This is your baby. Your business is your baby. It's one of your children. Make sure you have a will. I prefer trust as well, but at least let's put the will in place. A will identifies the guardian if you have minor or special needs children or special needs adults that you care for. Who will carry out your wishes and how will your property or your business be distributed? Let's get it done. Let's get the will done at least. A trust is even better, but at least let's get the will done. Your financial power of attorney. Let's say for some reason, Lord forbid, you got into a coma or you were incapacitated or you were stuck in a hospital, couldn't get out and do things. Who's going to pay your bills? Who's going to make sure that your employees get paid? So your financial power of attorney needs to be done. It identifies who will control your affairs, like managing your bills, your insurance, your taxes, selling property, if you're not able to do it yourself. A lot of times we think about the will, like, hey, when I'm dead and gone, but what happens if something happens to you and you're still alive, but you can't get out? So the will doesn't work unless you're dead. So what happens if you're still breathing? Got some challenges. You're hooked up on life support. What happens to you, your family, your business? What goes on? You need the financial power of attorney done. Advanced healthcare directive or living will identifies the person to make your healthcare decision if you cannot and state what medical treatment you wish to receive if you're unable to choose one. We watch movies a lot, and in some of the scenes they have the family out in the hallway just fighting one another about unplug mama. No, you better not unplug mama. She wouldn't want to be on life support. Yes, she would. And the family's going back and forth. And the sister and the brother were, you live out of state, you don't know. I've been taking care of mama all this time. Well, mama told me 30 years ago, this is what you would want. People, just do the will. Do your advanced healthcare directive. Don't have your family out duking it in the hallway and the doctors and the nurses are like, hey, do we plug or unplug? This is your life. Take your responsibility for it. As a small business owner, you should really be doing this. Don't leave the family to wonder. Put your wishes inside of this advanced healthcare directive. If you would like a blood transfusion, don't. Are you an organ donor or not? Cremate me, bury me. All those things, we need this in the will. We need our financial power of attorney and we need our advanced healthcare directive. Don't put the burden on someone else. And the last one that we'll discuss on your estate plan is your Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, known as HIPAA, meaning that while you're living, something goes down, family rushes to the hospital and say, hey, how is she doing? They say, oh, she's in stable or unstable condition. Okay, well, what medicine is she taking? Blah, blah, blah. They're going to tell you, well, if you don't have a HIPAA, we cannot share the information with you. And because we're in back to school season, so if you're watching the replay, it is now August. In August, we have the back to school off to college. And you got college students that are 18 years old, 19 years old, going off to college, and Lord forbid something happens, they get into a car wreck. You jump in your car, you race down over 2 states over, you get to the hospital and you start asking questions and start demanding things, and they tell you, ma'am, because this person is 18 years old, we cannot discuss anything with you. Get the HIPAA release done for any college student before they go off to college. Have it for everybody, but I just really wanted to specify college students. A lot of times parents don't think about making sure that their children the 18-year-old young adult have the HIPAA in place. All right. But anyway, it says a HIPAA permits, which means give permission to your healthcare agent to access your medical records, insurance information to assist in your treatment. Make sure that you have a HIPAA for you, so your family can get permission, or whomever you want to give permission to get information, and then vice versa for your children age 18 or older, or any other family member that you're responsible for. All right, so on that meeting that I mentioned that we're going to be doing next week on August 20th, for those of you that are able to come in person, we're going to be talking about things such as business planning, executive bonus, key employee life insurance, buy-sell agreement. And if you're unable to make the in-person event, reach out to us and let us know, and we'll gladly set up a one-on-one or a group webinar so that we can go over these things with you as well, so that you can tune in from anywhere around the world. All right, one more thing here, take out your phone, get this QR code. We are doing a financial literacy quiz. I would love for you to take it. Trust me, it's not gonna be recorded in your grade history. There is no pass or fail, but this is something that we're working with in our firm to better assist our clients. And we wanna know, what do people know when it comes to finances? It's free, it's easy, no personal information is gonna be shared. So you want to take the quiz, you want to save it, and you want to download your copy. Reach out to us and let us know how you did. or just take it for your own peace of mind, but don't forget to make sure that you download it, okay? Very, very important so that you can have it later to reference for your information. So I hope this information that we shared on today was beneficial to you. And as you can see on the screen, is the QR code that you can scan to get more information on how you can reach out to me, Candy Martin, or my company. Our phone number is here, 985-326-9297. If you would like more information about the rule of 72, don't forget to text the number 72 to that number, which is 985-326-9297, and we will send you the video, as well as you see our website here, martinbusinesssolution.com. You can go there to get more information about our next webinar. And I pray that this information has truly been beneficial to you. Never, ever, ever hesitate to reach out. Have a great and amazing day.